East Africa, a land of breathtaking beauty where the savanna stretches as far as the eye can see. But behind this idyllic facade lies a dark and painful history, the East African slave trade. For centuries, this sinister trade cast a long shadow over the region, tearing families apart and leaving an indelible mark on the souls of its people. Unlike the transatlantic slave trade, the East African trade has often been overlooked, yet its impact was no less devastating. From the bustling markets of Zanzibar to the distant shores of Arabia, millions of Africans were caught in its cruel web. Their stories, often untold and unheard, deserve to be brought to light. This trade wasn't just about economics, it was a brutal assault on humanity itself. It stripped individuals of their dignity, their families, their very identities. Imagine the terror of a village raid, the screams piercing the night, the flames engulfing homes, the agonizing separation of loved ones. This was the harsh reality for countless East Africans who fell victim to the slave trade. Raiders, often armed with muskets and swords, would descend upon villages, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Those captured, young and old, men and women, were bound together with heavy chains, forced to embark on a perilous journey into the unknown. Packed tightly together, often with little food or water, many succumbed to disease, hunger, or exhaustion. The path they traversed was littered with the bodies of those who didn't survive. The traders, driven by greed, showed little mercy. Yet even in the face of such unimaginable brutality, the human spirit endured. Acts of kindness, however small, flickered amidst the darkness, a shared sip of water, a comforting touch, a whispered song of hope. The final destination for many of these captives was the island of Zanzibar, a jewel in the Indian Ocean. But this island paradise was also a hub of the slave trade, its streets echoing with the cries of those sold into a life of forced labor. From Zanzibar, they were shipped to various corners of the world, to the plantations of the Americas, the homes of wealthy Arabs, the courts of sultans and kings. The women and girls often faced the horrors of sexual exploitation, forced into harems or sold as domestic servants. The men were put to work on clove plantations, in salt mines, or as pearl divers, their bodies pushed to the limits of endurance. The conditions they faced were often inhumane, cramped living quarters, meager rations, and brutal punishments for the slightest infraction. Yet even in these desperate circumstances, the flame of hope refused to be extinguished. Whispers in the wind. Today, the descendants of these East African slaves are scattered across the globe. In Oman, Yemen, Pakistan, India, and beyond, their stories are woven into the very fabric of these societies. Some have managed to trace their ancestry, piecing together fragments of a painful past. Others carry the weight of their history in their blood, their physical features a testament to their ancestors' forced migration. Despite the passage of time, the wounds of the past have yet to fully heal. Many descendants still grapple with the loss of their ancestral languages, cultures, and traditions. Echoes of a stolen past. The East African slave trade was not merely an event of the past. Its legacy continues to reverberate today, shaping the social, economic, and political landscapes of the affected regions. The scars of slavery run deep, a constant reminder of the injustices inflicted upon millions of innocent people. The forced displacement of so many Africans had a profound impact on the demographics of both East Africa and the recipient societies. It disrupted cultural practices, tore apart social structures, and left a gaping wound in the collective memory of the African people. Recognizing and acknowledging this legacy is crucial for healing and reconciliation. A legacy etched in pain. The East African slave trade stands as a stark reminder of the capacity for human cruelty. It is a story of unimaginable suffering, of families torn apart, of dreams shattered, and of lives stolen. But it is also a story of resilience, of the indomitable spirit of those who endured the horrors of slavery. We must learn from the mistakes of the past and strive to create a world where every individual is treated with dignity and respect. By acknowledging the horrors of the past and working towards a more just future, we can ensure that the sacrifices of those who suffered are never forgotten.